Hey everybody, it's Justin, your guide into the other side. Today I want to do a deep dive into hunting for Legends of the Mara. I know we just got this announcement, so let's just kind of go break this down sentence by sentence to know everything we need to know about what's coming in season 1. So right off the bat, our first block that we have here, we have our team of Odas basically gathering to fight against this ginormous shattered titan, and we can kind of see our enchanter coda here that's fighting us, I guess buffing us essentially, and then we can kind of see a fighter coda just absolutely getting crushed, and another one fighting against the shattered head on. So right off the bat, Odas moving in packs are more effective at killing than lone Oda. So the more hunters that you have, the faster you can take down Shattered. That makes sense. Quantity, will help you fight Shattered and beat them faster. And that how that really slots into the game overall is like if you're managing your worker slots. I mean, you're probably just going to want to dedicate one deed towards fighting, because that'll help you get onto the leaderboard more efficiently than if you kind of split it between like a fighter and a hunter, because that's inefficient. So additionally, if we move on to the second part, we can kind of see a coda, an enchanter coda back here, as well as a fighter coda, and we can kind of see how it corresponds to the ability circles that we have here. There's one that's providing a buff. We don't necessarily know what that is. And then we can also see an ability here that is an attack essentially. And what we have is essentially to maximize your damage output, layer and time your special skills and buffs. So right off the bat, there's an emphasis on damage and the ability to, find those synergies between skills, the timing, as well as your team synergy as well. So it's going to be important to build your team effectively in order to, put skills that are useful together, as well as, see what provides the best damage. So again, with each new season, Odas will acquire new skills and be able to execute more complex combos. Very interesting sentence to break down. High emphasis on seasons, so that's why I have this Odiac open, because it defines the seasons for us in the context of Mara evolution. So Mara evolution is tied to a celestial coordinate system, the Odiac, and there are 4 seasons. Starting with creation, obviously the one that we're going to be playing, and then we're going to move into the evolution season. And I know I talked about this in my farming guide. The farmers are on the race to the end of the season to get the seasonal, or not the sediment fragments to, I guess evolve your Kodamara, right? But that's only an optional part. The required part is the seasonal catalyst. So how do we get those? We'll get into that in just a moment. But each season, Odas can acquire new skills and be able to execute more complex combos. That really does imply an importance on Mara evolution as it, as they become stronger, they get more traits, abilities, aesthetics. And the only things that are going to affect that are the catalysts themselves and the sediment fragments, right? So again, I do think there's going to be some sort of game loop that allows us to get the catalysts, whether that's in the shattered drops or the leaderboard rewards. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out in just a moment. So let's zoom out and actually take a look at the last block here. Codas can hold weapons essentially, and there are a lot of cool mega codas and regular codas that have weapons, but I'm just going to pull up Agora's one right here essentially. Let me just like that real quick. But Codas are experienced hunters. Their possession of weapons increases their chances of delivering critical hits, right? So there are hidden powers that these weapons have yet to be discovered. So first of all, Codas are obviously going to be stronger, right? And the strongest of Codas are going to be the ones with weapons. So we can basically see Agora's. So Agora is a pretty good guy. Awesome stuff in the background with Otherside Wiki, but he's got a coda essentially that has a nice weapon in the background, and you can't tell me that's not going to have some sort of special ability or effect or damage output. There's also another mega coda that I like to point out. Kodama has a really nice one, basically Ice King coda, and he has an ice scythe essentially, and it's like, is that going to do ice damage? Is that going to have an ice ability? Is that going to do something cool? I mean, the sentence here, there are hidden powers to these weapons that have yet to be discovered. Signs point to yes, so that's super exciting. I'm gonna be looking at these mega kotas and all the kotas with weapons, because they're going to have some sort of power. I mean, they really emphasize like the abilities with this like orange outline. So the implication of weapons having, abilities is pretty obvious. So what's the point of doing all this in the first place, right? What's the point of doing all of this stuff, getting our Amaras evolved, using our catalysts and our sediments, and, what's the point of, we have high emphasis on each portion of like optimizing for hunting, right? Getting as much hunters on your deed as possible, layering your abilities, using weapons against your I guess the shattered, right? I would say honestly, it's the leaderboard really. So they actually have this here. Why battle the shattered, right? When a shattered is defeated, it leaves behind a treasure. The more efficient a shattered is defeated, the more rare and exclusive the treasure. So it seems like whenever we defeat a shattered, we get a loot, I guess basically a loot drop box, right? What's inside of that, we don't necessarily know. They haven't really told us yet. But I see there's two outputs, essentially game loops. There's the initial shattered loot drop, and then there's the end of the season leaderboard rewards. I could be completely wrong. Maybe I'm assuming things, but that's just kind of how I'm seeing it based on the wording. But do correct me if I'm incorrect. So again, the supply of seasonal catalysts will also be limited in quantity, and each will have a different effect on the type of Mara. So the seasonal catalysts being limited in quantity, and I think that points highly towards being obtained through fighting the shattered. So if we take a look at the leaderboard, you're going to want to get on the leaderboard, right? There's going to be a global leaderboard listing per environment tier. So it will track your damage dealt by your Voyagers team, dealt by each Voyagers team, and the time it takes to defeat a shattered, right? And the race to defeat shattered as fast as possible is tracked with a collection of treasures or other items going to each season's top contender per environment tier. So these are all limited and seasonal. So again, there's two types of things. There's treasures and other items. So could be anything. But again, limited and seasonal. Again, you want to refer to the Zodiac. There's 4 seasons: creation, evolution, afterlife, abyss. They talk about seasonal catalysts. So I do think it will be creation catalyst, evolution catalyst, afterlife catalyst, abyss catalyst. It's going to have different abilities affect the way that your Kotamara functions and plays. So it's going to be important to keep an eye on those. So the last hint that we have on with regards to what we can get in terms of drops is under the unearthed artifacts portion of the gaming log. So when a shattered is defeated, Voyagers will be rewarded with treasures called unearthed artifacts. So some are consistent across all leaderboard tiers. Each tier has a limited supply. So again, the higher on the leaderboard that you are, the better. So again, with what these can be, what you can do with these essentially is you can utilize to enhance a Voyager's gameplay within Legends of the Mara, while others will aid the friends, and we can kind of see what can possibly be the treasures here. We have a spellbook, we have a Coda pickaxe, and we also have a jar of Coda farts as well. So that's super interesting. We don't necessarily know everything about what those drops will be, but overall, you're going to want to build your team correctly. You're going to want to focus on, keeping an eye on the Zodiac, building your Kotamara to the best of your ability, as well as, I guess, maybe acquiring weapons if you can. But essentially, this kind of all goes down to the Kotamara collection, right? It's going to be important to evolve your Kotamaras. It's going to be important to farm and fight at the same time in order to get the things you need to, I guess, get your Kotamara at the end. And, fighter is just 1/2 of that equation, maybe 1/3 if we talk about enchanters too. So that's all I got for today. I hope you found something. I hope you learned something in this video, how to get ready for Legends of the Mara and hunting overall. But definitely hit that like and subscribe button. So, hey, let me know what you're going to do in the comments. You can always catch me on Twitter and on YouTube. Definitely hit that subscribe button. I'm doing this too long. I'm gonna sign off, guys. I'll see you guys around. Peace.